Good morning, my friends. Today I'm going to read to you chapter 18, and this is a chapter that I believe is a little bit of a turning point for us in the story. And it is a time when we can sort of make the connection between what happens at the end of the summer and sometimes what happens at the end of a book and sometimes what happens when things change. We just met Uncle, which is one of the pigs, and Uncle's not really like the nicest pig in the world, and so I don't think Charlotte is particularly fond of him. He has kind of an unattractive personality, as she says, and what she understands about this pig worries Wilbur, and Wilbur is a worrier, so that should come as no surprise. Okay, so chapter 18, The Cool of the Evening. In the cool of the evening, when shadows darkened the fairgrounds, Templeton crept from the crate and he looked around. Wilbur lay asleep in the straw. Charlotte was building a web. Templeton's keen nose detected many fine smells. The rat was hungry and thirsty. He decided to go exploring. So without saying anything to anybody, he started off. "Bring me back a word," Charlotte called after him. "I'll be writing tonight for the last time." The rat mumbled something to himself and then disappeared into the shadows. He did not like being treated like a messenger boy. After the heat of the day, the evening came as a welcome relief to all. The Ferris wheel was lighted now, and it went round and around in the sky, and it seemed twice as high as by day. There were lights on the midway, and you could hear the crackle of the gambling machines and the music of the merry-go-round and the voices of the man in the Beano booth calling out the numbers. The children felt refreshed after their nap. Fern met her friend Henry Fussy, and he invited her to ride with him in the Ferris wheel. He even bought a ticket for her so that it didn't cost her anything. When Mrs. Arable happened to look up into the starry sky and saw her little daughter sitting with Henry Fussy and going higher and higher into the air and saw how happy Fern looked, well, she just shook her head. My, she said, Henry Fussy. Think of that. Templeton now kept out of sight. In the tall grass behind the cattle barn, he found a folded newspaper. Inside it were leftovers from somebody's lunch. A deviled ham sandwich, a piece of Swiss cheese, a part of a hard-boiled egg, and the core of a wormy apple. The rat crawled in and he ate everything. And then he tore a word out of the paper, rolled it up, and he started back to Wilbur's pen. Charlotte now had her web almost finished when Templeton returned, carrying the newspaper clipping. She had left a space in the middle of the web. At this hour, no people were around the pig pen, so the rat and the spider and the pig were by themselves. "I hope you brought a good one," Charlotte said. "It is the last word I shall ever write." "Here," said Templeton, unrolling the paper. "Well, what does it say?" asked Charlotte. "You'll have to read it for me." "It says humble," replied the rat. "Humble," said Charlotte. "Humble has two meanings. It means not proud, and it means near the ground." "Oh, that's Wilbur all over. He's not proud and he's near the ground." "Well, I hope you're satisfied," sneered the rat. "I'm not going to spend all my time fetching and carrying. I came to this fair to enjoy myself, not to deliver papers." "You've been very helpful," Charlotte said. "Now run along if you want to go and see more of the fair." The rat grinned. "Oh, I'm going to make a night of it," he said. "The old sheep was right. This fair is a rat's paradise. Oh, what eating and what drinking, and everywhere good hiding and good hunting. Bye-bye, my humble Wilbur. Fare thee well, Charlotte, ye old schemer. This will be a night to remember in a rat's life." And then he vanished into the shadows. Charlotte went back to her work. It was quite dark now. In the distance, fireworks began going off, rockets scattering fiery balls into the sky. And by the time the Arables and the Zuckermans and Lurvy returned from the grandstand, Charlotte had finished her web. The word humble was now woven neatly in the center. Nobody noticed it in the darkness. Everyone was tired and happy. And this is the picture that sort of is going along with what we just read here. Fern and Avery climbed into the truck and lay down. They pulled the Indian blanket over them. Lurvy gave Wilbur a forkful of fresh straw. Mr. Arable patted him. "It's time for us to go home," he said to the pig. "We'll see you tomorrow." The grown-ups climbed slowly into the truck, and Wilbur heard the engine start, and then he heard the truck moving away in low speed. He would have felt lonely and homesick had Charlotte not been with him. He never felt lonely when she was near. In the distance, he could still hear the music of the merry-go-round. As he was dropping off to sleep, he spoke to Charlotte. "Sing me that song again. You know, about the dung and the dark, he begged. Oh, not tonight, she said in a low voice. I'm too tired. Her voice didn't seem to come from her web. Where are you? Asked Wilbur. I can't see you. Are you on your web? Oh, I'm back here, she answered, up in this back corner. Why aren't you on your web? Asked Wilbur. You almost never leave your web. Well, I've left it tonight, she said. Wilbur closed his eyes. Charlotte, he said, after a while, do you really think that Zuckerman will let me live and not kill me when the cold weather comes? Do you really think so? Oh, of course, said Charlotte. You are a famous pig, and you are a good pig. Tomorrow, you will probably win a prize. And the whole world will hear about you. Zuckerman will be proud and happy to own such a pig. You'll have nothing to fear. Wilbur, nothing to fear about at all. Maybe you'll live forever. Who knows? And now go to sleep. For a while, there was no sound, and then Wilbur's voice. What are you doing up there, Charlotte? Oh, I'm making something, she said. I'm making something as usual. Is it something for me? Asked Wilbur. No, said Charlotte. It's something for me, for a change. Please tell me what it is, begged Wilbur. Please. I'll tell you in the morning, she said, when the first light comes into the sky and the sparrows stir and the cows rattle their chains, when the rooster crows and the stars fade, when early cars whisper along the highway. You look up here and I'll show you something. I'll show you my masterpiece. Before she finished the sentence, Wilbur was asleep. She could tell by the sound of his breathing that he was sleeping peacefully, deep in the straw. Miles away, at the Arable's house, the men sat around the kitchen table eating a dish of canned peaches and talking over the events of the day. Upstairs, Avery was already in bed and asleep, and Mrs. Arable was tucking Fern into bed. Did you have a good time with the fair? She asked, as she kissed her daughter. I had the best time I've ever had anywhere or any time in my whole life, she said. Well, said Mrs. Arable, isn't that nice? That's it. I want you to know that that this is the kind of book that will arouse your emotions. It's the kind of book that's going to make you feel happy and scared and excited and a little sad. And you should let books do that to you. You should let books make you laugh out loud and cry real tears and feel really scared. You should let books do that because that's what they're meant to do. Okay. Have a lovely day.